Hi ho there, Kato. Good to see you, man. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Thought I would get a little couple drams and I always miss the audio on this thing. I thought I already turned this down. Sorry about that. 1 second. You gotta love the loop on this thing. There we go. Sorry about that. The sad thing is, I always check it beforehand, but I've got like 3 different sound cards that I use. So sometimes I'll have it plugged into the one on the computer. There's another one that's external, and there's one for a radio. It's crazy. Hey, Rabbit and Red, good to see you, man. Check out Rabbit and Red's channel if you guys get a chance. He's been supportive, and we're both in near DC, basically. Good to see you, Trooper, as always. Mose, sorry. For some reason, because there's a Moose 70 something I see, and I get Moose and Mose mixed up sometimes. DHS says you get better burn if you drink at the Power Glove. He's right. Hey, Lockness, good to see you, man. Just left Rabbit Whiskey in the 6 to catch your show. Oh, thanks, man. I really appreciate that. Rob's got a really good channel, and I didn't know he was live. I hope everything's okay there. Demi's just did it. I usually go on after them. And we'll take a couple looks here at a couple drams that I've been wanting to get a hold of in my chase to hit all the distilleries eventually. I am familiar with Dalmore, and we'll get to that. And a new one that I was not really familiar with was Glencadam. I think that's how you say it. Glencadam sounds right. I could be off. I usually trying to remember if they do long A's. No, they're usually an aw sound, so Glencadam maybe. I don't know, but close enough, hopefully. We're gonna look at the 13. It's a limited edition, which is surprising. But I found out it's really not as limited as I thought it was going to be. When I look at limited, I think usually like 1,000 bottles or less. This is at 6,000, so they are individually numbered. And this particular bottle, the one thing funny is I didn't really look and see. Oh, 1676. So pretty much halfway through the run on this particular one. Not a distillery I've tried. It's Highland. But I have, I think Ralphie recently did this guy. And my friend, Dram Dude from California, he Instagrammed this just a few days ago, ironically, this exact same bottle, the 13. And I told him, I was like, hey, bring it with you if he can stick around. I'm not sure if he's busy. Sometimes he's able to make the show, sometimes he's not. But I figure we'll start with that, and then we'll end with the a classic Dalmore 15. And I'll tell you a little story about what happened when I went to get this, because I originally went for the 18, and there's a big reason why we didn't do that. Rob was late going last night. He waited until the Leafs game was over. Oh, okay, gotcha. Well, that explains it. Yeah, I was watching the Capitals, and the Capitals won their game, so I'm really happy about that. And yeah, it's between him and Swami, who's a huge. Isn't he like a Canadiens fan? I believe Senators. Sorry, Swami's gonna kill me. Swami's a big Senators fan. Ottawa Senators. That's right. So yeah, just hockey all over the place. But I'm gonna say go Caps. We won last year. Hopefully we can pull it off again. Rob's an hour, and he'll be awesome. Oh, okay. He's an hour plus in. Hopefully he'll get to stop by. Usually he does when he gets a chance to. Now we'll start off with the Glencadam because the Dalmore has more of a sherry influence. This one I'm not really completely attuned with what casks were used with this, but It was from July 2017. Angus Dundee Distilleries Group as a limited edition bottling from that distillery. The Highland Distillery was mothballed. It fell dormant in 2000 and reopened 3 years later. The bottling is a result of the distillery's reawakening. That's why it's called the 13-year reawakening. And it's a standard with their releases. This single malt is not chill filtered and has no added coloring. So I'm going by doing some notes here from distiller.com. They're really good about keeping tabs on bottles. They have their own experts and they do reviews and numbers. Most of the time, I think they get it right. Sometimes I might not completely agree with them because this is all subjective, but it's kind of a cool place if you're a typer like me. Sometimes I want to write out my notes, not just do video, do different platforms. It's good just to be able to type some notes out and keep track of it. You give a 1 to 5 score, 0.25 increments, and just go from there. And it has people all over the world that put reviews in there, even in different languages. So sometimes you might have to use a translator, but you can get really good different opinions on whiskeys there too. Oh, yes. It's funny. Never had one before, but this nose is, even though this is a Highland distillery, the Glencadam, I think it reminds me of a bit of a Speyside because it has a sweetness to it. Has a lot of fruit up front, but it's a really nice floral balance with it too. Not my wheelhouse because it's not peated, it's not smoky, it's not that type of scotch, which I usually would go toward first. But I can definitely appreciate a good Dalwhinnie 15, something like that. And this is kind of in that realm. If you're a Dalwhinnie 15 fan, this might be up your alley. So far, so good. The nose has a brininess to it. It's got aspects of the maritime deal that you get from a Pulteney. A little more. It's a little lighter than that. The maritime notes are a little more subtle, but still, I think still there. Hey, Dram, good to see you made it, man. I was hoping that you was gonna be able to do this with me. Hopefully, you have your Glencadam 13 with you still. I just I'm past the neck, but I'm working on it. And poured myself a new dram about 20 minutes ago or so, and let it sit out a bit. Just letting the guys know that I was dram. Please feel free to get in the notes in the chat if you don't mind, and sip it with me, sniff it with me. A lot of fruit from the get-go. It kind of reminds me of the Speyside, even though it's a Highland, and also got a lot of floral things at the front. That was a good balance between the two. Doesn't fight. No bitterness, nothing sour or anything like that. It's a really nice blend of the fruit and the floral notes. And I get a sense of like some maritime notes too. It's like it's a bit it reminds me of a Pulteney, but not as intense. It's a bit more like it has some islands, and I'm saying islands, not Isla, but islands type of aspects with it. It's not as full-fledged Talisker or that that maritimey, but it's there a little bit. Let me know if you get the same kind of vibe from it, Dram. I'm just curious. There is a little bit of sourness in there. You really have to dig for it, though. Not a bad sour, kind of like a rhubarb, kind of it's not near as pickled like a sauerkraut kind of pickling, but like a little slight pickling. You really have to dig deep to get much of anything else though on the nose. Not unpleasant. A lot of mid-level fruits. I don't think it's citrusy off the bat. Maybe light, like some lemon. lemon, and a slight orange and a lot more florals. But let's go for a taste. Now that's where more of the island's notes comes in. It's got pepper, and not just pepper. It's got some really nice both white pepper, I think, on the front end, and black pepper on the back end. Has a little bit of a drying aspect to it, but not terribly dry. It's like it's just a nice. It's not a bad finish too. We'll get to that in a second. Let's keep track on the palate. Get anything there, Dram? I'm just curious if you're still got any of this Kedem, the Glencadam 13 left. Hopefully, hey mom, good to see you. I see that you snuck in there. Yeah, that's really my mom, by the way, guys. So be nice to her. Oh my! I'm glad you came. I haven't seen you in a while on a live show. Yeah, she's doing well. Working like crazy, I'm sure, as usual. Mom likes to work. They're always nice to me. Yeah, that's true. Thankfully. I love that spice, that white pepper, and there's some really nice. There's some savory notes on the palate too. It's funny. It's a lot sweeter on the nose than it is the palate. The palate's got a bit of what is that? It's not chocolate. It's not mocha. It's something savory like that, though, and I'm trying to put my finger on it. Oh my. Sherry finish. No, I don't think this has a sherry finish. If it's very malty, this has more of a malt taste than anything. Like it's not too bourbon-esque. It's not too sherry. I don't actually detect any sherry really hardly in there. If there is any, it's very little. It seems like it's mostly like a bourbon oak, but minus really the bourbon oaky. It's not woody. It's more malty than anything else, I'd say, which is a good thing for me. It's like a Whopper's kind of a. That's what I was thinking. Like there's slight chocolate, but it's more of a malty Whoppery kind of a taste, I think. The most intriguing thing about it is the spice. Also, at the tail end, near closer toward the finish, it starts from white pepper, black pepper, then it goes into like a sweeter spice, like a cinnamon / nutmeg thing. That is wild. It's interesting. It's funny at first because I had a neck porridge ram, and I got a lot of the fruits and the florals. I didn't get as much spice, and I think once I got yeah, well, I said sort of like sauerkraut, not like a slight pickling, not sauerkraut. I was thinking of like more like a real slight pickled something, but definitely the malted milk balls. That's definitely there. Don't make fun. I just tell you what I get. I have not had the 10, Donner, unfortunately. I'd love to try. This is my first Glencadam. I am intrigued by the distillery since I didn't watch Ralphie's whole review. I didn't want to be like, what's the word for it? Influenced by it. I just wanted to kind of get a glimpse of what he thought, and so I just got that. I remember that was positive, and after seeing a couple people kind of start kind of talking about it, I thought that'd be a good bottle to review. It's actually not too hard to find. Oh, Loch Ness, please stick around because the Dalmore's gonna be interesting. That I have a story to tell by that one. Some good, some not so good. It depends on how you look at it. All bourbon cask matured. Okay, yeah. I was gonna say it definitely has a bourbon kind of a tinge to it, and I didn't detect any sherry notes at all. Um, but I'm getting a bit of spice. Spice is like the number one thing. The spice is like first. The brininess in the maritime stuff is like second, and maybe like I'd say the fruits third, and the florals are fourth. I think is how this kind of. And for a 13, it's pretty complex, I have to say. I'm pleasantly surprised, especially once I got past the neck pour on this guy. I think it got a lot better. It might be one of those that really matures and blossoms, opens up. But when you get, some bottles are best when you're at the halfway or lower level, and that might be one of those kind of glasses too. Now, the finish on this doesn't it starts savory, goes sweeter. The spice is still there, but it goes into a sweeter spice. That cinnamon nutmeg thing, it's trying to give a length. If it's definitely longer than short and longer than medium. I'd say it's a long finish. I'm still getting it. And it's kind of mix of that citrus and malty, whoppery kind of thing. And there's no dankness or anything leathery going on. It's pretty. It's actually just a nice malty, spicy, smooth dram. I mean, that's kind of boils it down. Sounds good. The 10 is amazing for its age. Yeah, I mean, if the 13 is this good, the 10's a few years off, and as if it's still like, if you've had it and liked it, loved the 10, like you said, then it's definitely probably well worth a look because it wasn't expensive. This one, trying to think. Let me look at my notes and see what I got it for. The Glencadam 13, I know it was underneath 100 at least. 69.98. 69.98, $70 basically for a 13-year-old. That's a definite great buy. I really like it. I'm going to give it. It's definitely above a way above a 3. I think it's above a 4. I'm approaching a 4.25 to 4.5. It's really hard to ding it. A few more years in the the cask would benefit it. Maybe another cask influence, like a sherry involvement or something else. But I think it's solid. I think it's complex for what it is. It's a hell of a price. $70 for a 13-year-old whiskey. I mean, that's well done. It's not like, to me, an Old Pulteney 12 is pretty basic, run of the mill. I mean, it's got some maritime notes and it's got its typical bourbon cask stuff, but this one is more complex, I think, than an Old Pulteney 12 any day of the week. So, and probably a similar price. So I would jump on that one every day of the week. Comparatively, I think, to it. Jen, what do you think? I know you talked about the 10 being all tropical fruits. I get some fruits on this, but this to me is more of a spicy, interesting, malty deal. It's a kind of a character dram like a Kregaliki 13. You've nailed it, Mose. I think it's in that. If you like a Kregaliki 13, you're going to love, I think, something like that. And I think I actually enjoy this. Don't tell the Kregaliki people if they're listening. But I think I might enjoy this one just a smidgen more, only because I get more maltiness from this one versus the Kregaliki. The Kregaliki 13 has lots of the same spices. It's got more fruit character, though. The Creativity 13 has more, if I remember correctly, has more of an apple-y pear thing going on. This does have some oranges and some lemons in there, but that maltiness and the freaking the white, black, cinnamon, nutmeg, the whole spectrum of spices with this guy, I think is completely out of the woods better, complexity wise on me. Yeah, Drance says, yeah, you got a lot of oak spice in the 13. Yeah, it's got some really nice stuff going on, and I think that's what saves it. If it just had the fruit and the floral, and it had that kind of space sidey / Highland, profile, and a medium finish, decent, then I would give it a 3.5. It would remind me of like an Old Pulteney 12 or some run-of-the-mill Highland 12 that you typically see. But there's a lot more going on with that Glencadam 13 that meets the eye. I'd say it's definitely one of those underrated drams, and at 6,000, I know it's limited, but 6,000, you can find a bottle of this for $70, I guarantee it. And I think it's well worth the look. Mom's talking about someone's. Oh, Loch Ness is working especially lumber in Canada. That's cool. They don't deal with any whiskey distilleries. They sell rough lumber for white oak, usually for furniture. That's cool. Yeah, I wish I could do more with wood. I like to play guitars and stuff, and I always would love to be able to build one, but it's like the hardest thing to do because everything has to be so precisely done and so intricate, and it's definitely something that you have to admire someone that can do woodworking very well. That's for sure. Yeah, they're redoing their porch ceiling, taking out the wood, and yeah, I bet that's interesting with that old wood that's down there. Anyway, but yeah, I think it's well done, and I'm gonna settle on a 4.25. I think that's well deserved. I'd love to get my hands on a 15, an 18, a 21. Might be that 5-star dram that's out there. I'm looking for. But it's really damn close to 4.5. Really, I'm really struggling between those two numbers. But since it's so young and it's got so much room to grow, that's the only reason I'm kind of holding it back to a 4.25 and maybe seeing that older age. But yeah, you don't have, if there's no coloring or chill filtering going on, it's 46% already. Cast strength would be nice to see. Maybe that might bump it up to a 4.75 or even 5. But I think that's the reason why I have to keep it at that deal. Yeah, I do have a nice Scarbox guitar, but that was not the easiest thing to make, from what I remember. That's a toughie. But yeah, the routing. I remember when we did the neck and trying to route the neck in the right shape, and that was just a cluster. But it got done, and it plays. I can play it, so it's not it wasn't a failure by any means. That's probably why there's a Glencadam 15. Yeah, they probably even have a 21, 23, 30. They probably have some really older ones that I have to save up for. I'd love to get my hands on a 15 just to see. Yeah, we drank a bit while we were building it. I think we actually had the Pappy Van Winkle out probably that year, didn't we? If I remember correctly. Loch Ness found that his bottle of Creativity 13 really let him down. Huh. Yeah, Loch Ness, if you're not happy with just a really intense, spicy, fruity dram, it doesn't have the malt / other aspects that the that the Glencadam has. The 13 is a bit different for the Glencadam. DHS that Keith did, that's Malta Man Cave, for people that don't know, did a Glencadam 23 review today. And the funny thing is, I think I did see a snippet of that, and I was about to watch it, and I thought, I better not, because if I watch it, I'll get influenced by what he says, and I don't want to do all that. Mose says, dang, I never see a Glencadam except for the independent bottle expressions. Yeah, if you do your digging, you can find them. It's not the easiest thing to find, but oh, it's 21, and Dram gave him this sample. That's awesome of you. That's awesome of you, Dram. That's I'm sure that's hard to find. You cheaped out on him. That's horrible. Don't take offense, Dram. He's just, DHS. That's funny though. I have to say that. All right, let's get to this story of this Dalmore, because I've been itching to tell it, man. All right, Dalmore is an interesting distillery, and I'll tell you why. Well, historically, I only found out about them after looking at the Scotch for Dummies back in the day. They did the King Alexander review. It was like their big 4.0 review, and there was a lot of hype on that dram, and I was like, open-minded, so I went and had it in Expo, and I tried the King Alexander. It was the first one I went to. I got in line. It was funny because when they opened the doors for this whiskey fest, everybody and their mom went to Dalmore like right away. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm in the right spot because everybody else doesn't have a line. This is the only place that has a line. So, and now looking back, I realize why. It's because they have older Scotch that's not peated, and everyone wants to hit that, non-peated. And even though it's sherry influence, it's not like overly spicy or going to obliterate your palate. It's just a really good tasting, dram. So, it makes sense people get lined up. So I get my dram and I drink it. I add a little, 1 drop of water to it. It definitely is complex. It's great. And then I went to the 18, and I really fell in love with the 18. It was like chocolate covered raisins with cashews, and it's just a great tasting dessert type of dram, and that's what I really enjoy, that kind of thing. So love the 18. I deemed that the best that they had to offer, and moved on down the road. So over time, I've received samples of Dalmore's, the 15, the 18, the 12, some Travel Retail exclusives like the Valor and things like that, and got more, learning about the whole, issue where people are kind of like thrown off by their coloring, chill filtering type of thing. And since I already had it and liked it, I thought, well, if it tastes good, well, does it really matter what they add to it to make it look more presentable? Because that's what they're shooting for. This is all about presentation, is what this is really about. They're trying to make it look more presentable, that you're going to think this is a little bit richer in flavor with that coloring. And I can see both sides to the deal on that, but I have heard that it does affect the taste, especially with the chill filtering, and that's kind of a no-no. But I will go back and say it's still a good tasting whiskey, and that's really what it's all about. So after dabbling with the 12, and and it's okay, and I've had the 18, loved it. I thought, well, the 15, would be great, but the reason why I went with the 15, not the 18, is the original price on the 18 was $160, and I thought it's a little on the high end, but it's within reach. I'll just save a little bit more, and I'll go and pick it up. So I'm saving, I'm doing my thing, I'm excited, because this is one of those, drams that I remember falling in love with, at the very beginning of my whiskey journey, basically. So I'm thinking, this is going to be awesome. I drive out. It's a 30 to 45 minute drive. Go all the way out there. I go in there. I see it on the shelf. I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. Pick it up. Take it to the counter. He rings it up. he says two, like over 210, like 213 something. And I'm like, whoa, slow your roll there. That there's a problem because this, and actually, it's funny because my guy there gives me a Scotch list of all their inventory and their prices, and I had it right here, and I pulled it out, and I was like, let's go to the D's for Dalmore, and sure enough, yeah, they have pretty good selection actually. They even have a special Chef Daniel Bavoud, which is like I think a little bit older than the 18. I think it's like a 20-year-old or something for $189.99. Probably not about that, not that price anymore, but that's a whole other story. So their 18 they had listed for $159.98, and I'm like, it's high, but it's reasonable. That's a good price for that whiskey. And he's like, well, we haven't bought it in so long, and we had to reorder, and they rose the price. And I'm like, so this is a White and McKay, that's the company that owns Dalmore. Is this their issue? And pretty much they have drove the price up for this whiskey, not $10, which I would, if you're looking at inflation, you're looking at, supply and demand, those kinds of things. 10, maybe $20 at the most. I could see raising the price up, but we're talking $50. Is that right? Yeah, 70, 80, 90, hold on. 70, 80, 90, 10, yeah, I mean, $50. It's like, that is crazy. So I picked up the 15 instead. And goes to show, if I'm talking to White McKay, if you guys screw on with these prices too much, I'm going to say, no fucking way. I don't care if this was made of gold, it's still not worth it. It's just not worth it. I can get a Glengoyne 18 for a lot less. A Bunnahabhain 18 a lot less. I mean, hell, I could get a Laphroaig 18 for a lot less, really. A Highland Park 18, I can get that for $130. Why the hell am I going to pay $210 for a Dalmore 18 when I can get a Highland Park 18 for $130, $160 at the most? It is crazy. And the old Pulteney's, I mean, I can still grab some old Pulteney's, 1721 for that kind of price. There is just no way. And hopefully when they sit on the shelf, because I saw two of them sitting up there, no surprise, they're going to sit on the shelf. They'll have a whole stack, 9, 10 of them long, and they won't sell because there is no way that these people are going to pay $210 for an 18-year-old Dalmore. I just don't see it unless it was like something that was specialized, like a one-time casking, 600 bottles, that kind of thing, man. It's just nuts. DHS has sent me an email with the 2007 bourbon pricing list. All this was on the shelf. Oh, man, I'm afraid to even look. I bet it's crazy. And Steven says he's not a fan of the core range of Dalmore. Yeah, it's kind of sad, man, because like, I mean, I like a thicker whiskey. To me, the Dalmores are a bit thin, and I think the reason mostly is because of the low ABV being 40 on the 12 and the 15, which is crazy. They don't make this 43%. The 18, I think, is at least 43 to 46%. I'd be surprised if it's not. Mr. J says Nick Andrew died today. Spread the word, please. I'm not sure who Nick Andrew is. Sadly, if anyone knows, please let me know. Well, when I first saw it, though, it must be all cast under 10 years old. Most Chun. Oh, you're talking about the Highland Park full volume. No, that's not bad at all. I think I paid more than 70 for it. I think it was like $80 to $90 here on the Highland Park full volume, if I'm not mistaken. So $212 for the Old Pony 21 is a good price. The 21, 212? I'd say yes, because you can't get it anymore. The 17 runs 122.99, and there's only like one or two bottles that I've seen around here, and there are no 21s left. So if you can get the 21 for under 250, I think that's not bad. It's so well regarded. I don't think you'd feel bad for that price. If it was over 250 mils, I don't think I would pull the trigger on it. I think it's a little too high. Their new 15, believe it or not, is really well done. I tried the new Old Pulteney line, and I did not like the sadly their 18 as much as the 15. That's just me. The 15 reminded me more of the 21. The 18 is 43. Yeah, that makes sense, Steven. That was my favorite, I think, that I've had of the core. And if they're going to rise the price that much, man, they're out of their freaking mind. All right, so let's take a look, and I'm sorry, sort of, about bashing a little bit here. It's not a bad whiskey. It's just, if you're going to color it, if you're going to chill filter it, if you're going to thin it out and it's going to be 40%, that's 3 strikes against you. You do have the 15 years or the 18 years being 43%. I just don't understand it. I don't like that aspect of it. Let me unfilter Moses' thing there. Yeah, Malta's saying it's adorable stuff. It's absolutely dreadful. Well, here's the thing, Swami. I'm going to disagree with you slightly. And yes, it's chill filtered, it's colored, it's 40%. It doesn't taste bad, though. I mean, is it worth the price? No. If they, cut their prices in half, it might be, yeah, cold chill filter and E150 is a hard pill to swallow. And that's, honestly, DHS says I kind of get why companies put out their cheap stuff. Why the hell they sell 18 or worse? Yeah, I don't understand that either. It doesn't make any sense. Swami says it gets a total ammonia aftertaste. Now I'm going to do a fair review in this. I know Swami's itching at the bit to go crazy. And if you heard Swami, I was not nice on my whole experience with the price craziness and the whole thing. And I do like the the taste, but someone gave me a thumbs down. It's all right. I'm used to it. I had a feeling, like, it's funny because I had a Dalmore review on the 18, and I probably said something a little negative about it but the sad thing is I gave it like a great score because I do like the Scotch, but the someone gave me a downvote on that. I was like, wow, that's pretty crazy. It's but I'm being honest. I just can't help it. I can't tell people that it's the greatest thing and it's worth $210. There's just no fucking way. It's impossible. All right, so let's go shoot to this one. I'm trying to remember what the price on this was. I'm sure it was absolutely ridiculous. It was probably 130 or 40, some crazy, way above what it should be factor. We won't even talk about the color. We talked about it already. It is thin. That's not what I'm looking for. The thing I do like about Dalmore, and I'll be honest, is I do like a sherry influenced dram. They do have that with this. This particular one is a ex-bourbon and Amoroso, not Oloroso, but Amoroso, Matashilum, and Apostles sherry cask, which is a little different. It's basically 12 years in ex-bourbon, and the final 3 years spent in 3 different sherry casks, which I'm not sure if they do a year each or if they do certain times in each one that just equals out to be three. But the three different sherry casks, I think, is what gives the it a little bit more character than some other drams have. Now, Swami probably won't agree with me on that, but that's okay. It's cool. I will say I do enjoy the nose on it a bit. I do get a lot of spice off the front. It does have it's not a peppery spice though, it's more of a sweet cinnamon sugar. It kind of reminds me a little bit of has a little bit of almost like a chocolatey maybe even a mocha kind of a nose to it too. It's not as intense as I wish it would be. Is that low ABV? I'm sure is what's kind of bringing it down a little bit, but it's not off-putting. There's nothing like tears in a party. It does. It does have. It does have a pleasant, factor to it, but it's not overly complicated. It does have some nice, it has more richer fruits. I will give it that. It's got some, nice ruby red. Has a little bit of raspberry, some black currants, black cherries, that kind of thing. I do like the nose. If it had a little bit more, has a little bit of smoke, maybe slightly, but it's not peated or anything like that. If it did have a little bit of a true smoke or peat, might make it a little bit more multi-dimensional, more complex. All right, let's. I already talked about the thinness. Not too happy about that. Of course, we're going to neat 40%. Got to do it. I do like the overall just basic taste of it. It's got some nice chocolate notes right up top. Goes into like a raisiny, a little bit of hazelnut. So there's oiliness there, but it's so light, thinness wise. It's such a thin dram that I know Swami was talking about he's talking about the ammonia type of aftertaste that he got. Thankfully, I'm not getting that, but it does have it has a very short finish. This is the 15, not the 18. 18, I think, is a bit better. The 15's got a very short finish. It's got a faint grapey kind of red wine type of finish, but not anything memorable. It's almost too easy drinking. It's just the 40% is just so comical. One thing I will do, just to give it a little bit of a chance, and I'm not sure if Swami did this or not. He tasted this. If on 40%, normally you wouldn't think to add any water, but just add like a drop. I'm using my finger because I just literally want 2 baby drops of water to hit it. And I didn't think it would make that much difference. On their King Alexander, it made a huge difference. That's one good point I can give it, that it is whiskey that can handle water, surprisingly, for such a low ABV. I'm not sure why, but I think it brings a bit more of the mocha / chocolate aspects out with a little bit of water, but it doesn't change it a whole lot. It actually probably brings the fruit down, which is not such a great thing, but I wish it had more florals to it. It doesn't really have. It doesn't have any nice, and I think sulfur is nice. Um, the It doesn't have the Ben Nevis kind of a sulfur, or it doesn't have the leathery kind of stuff a good Springbank has. It just doesn't have it. The thing is that it's just not worth even close to its retail price. And I think Stevens nailed it. It's just not there. DHS is saying that he really was disappointed with the Glendronach Cast Strength 7. I had it. I reviewed it. I think if I remember correctly, I didn't like kill it, but it wasn't as high as I was hoping it would be. I think the finish was a bit dry for me, or something was a bit off with the Glendronach Cast Strength. It wasn't like disappointing, like majorly, but it definitely wasn't like above a 4, I think, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I have to go back and look at the review, but I'm pretty sure I dinged it for a couple things here and there that I was just kind of like, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because when I think Dalmore is a good entry Scotch for people because it's so thin, it's not overbearing, it doesn't have any like crazy notes to it that'll throw you off. But once you've had it and you've moved on to other distilleries, especially like a Clynelish or an Ardbeg or whatever, and then you come back to it, it's like an eye opener to how thin and how low ABV it really is. It's kind of sad, really, if you to think about it. Thankfully, there's not a lot of 40% whiskeys anymore out there, unless you're looking for like a real thin. Glenkinchie 12 might be 40%, but I can't think of any off the top of my head that still runs just a flat 40. Thank God. They need to up their game at White and McKay, though. It just, yeah. I'm kind of. It's tough because I like the basic flavor of, especially a Dalmore 18. I wish this was the 18 so badly, but to pay over $200 for it is absolutely asinine. That's the word for the day, asinine. So I mean, this is the first one I've ever tried. Really disappointing at the price point. Yeah. You had to pay $125. Oh my God, man! I was lucky. I did get it for a lot less than that. I think it was like, I want to say 80, 70, 80 bucks, something like that for the Glenronach Cast Strength. It wasn't very high, thankfully, from what I remember. But 125, yeah, I'd be kind of pissed. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's kind of a tough one. I could see, like, if you're in the, I mean, it's the basic taste is there. If you just want a simple sherried chocolate covered raisiny, but really, basic dram, just this could do it for you. But you don't be planning on any like finish to speak of or heavy mouth coat. The nose is definitely probably the one of the better aspects of it. It's just so damn thin. I like the flavor on the mid palate, but it just fades so fast. Mm. And and all you're getting is like the chocolate, a little bit of espresso, mocha kind of thing. Little, maybe a really slight aspect of smoke, even with the water. It's just not the 18, and it's just not worth going all crazy and, shooting out a boatload of money for, 160 was a fair price for the 18, just way it was. And another distillery that overprices their drams here in Maryland is Glendronach, and it's kind of sad because if I go online, I'm going to do it right now just to prove a point. So let's say I went to my local store in Maryland, and I want to pick up a Glendronach. This is what I'm going to have to pay. This is not a joke. Glendronach, right? I hate to go off on a tangent, but we're going to end the show on how ridiculous these prices are getting. It's just beyond nuts. All right, the basic border bare bones core 12 is $66.99. Is that worth it? It is. It's just a little bit edgy on the price for a 12-year-old, in my opinion. Should be closer to 50-ish. But, $66.99 is not going to kill. It's not going to break the bank on that. The Revival, the 15, the new one, not the classic, the new one is $99.99. 15-year-old, $99.99 is cheaper than this guy, I guarantee you that. That I think is okay still. I think we're okay. Now, this is where the problem comes in. When you go to the 18 Allardyce, $189.99. That is crazy. It should be like $150 at the most. And then you go to the 21 Parliament, $239.97. That is crazy sauce. That is nuts. Should not be above $200. Maybe, $210. But 21-year-old Glendronach, I'm sorry, $240 basically is just too freaking nuts, man. I'm sorry, but yeah, $38 is a steal compared to Stephen's got 24 to 25, so around 300. Yeah, I mean that's a much better price, I think, for what you're getting. Those, and I can attest, I've had a couple of those sherry butts, man. Those are worth the money for that. That I can understand, but I'm just like, what the fuck? Just crazy prices. I mean, it's bad enough if it's above $100. That kind of hurts. But to go above $200 for anything that's 21, maybe could pull 200, but anything above that is just, unless it's like 26-year-old, like it's like a black arts, like Brooklady kind of thing. To go above, I just don't know. I mean, it needs to be a little more special. Yeah, it's 160 in San Francisco, and that's why I'm like, well, why did they go up $50 here in Maryland? It's absolutely insane. And DHS is right. It's cheaper to ship it from the UK than it is to buy locally, which makes no sense to me because they tax the shit out of the cask strength market. It's all based on ABV. And I know the 21 has got to be at least 48%. So how they get the prices all whacked out, it's got to be some sort of thing where I guess Glendronach knows or Brown-Forman knows they sell a boatload of this stuff in certain states and they just jack up the prices. But I'm telling you, I will drive 3 hours if it means saving $100. That's, yeah, 48 even on the 21. So at least in the UK, as I have a UK bottle here. Wow, that's cool. Yeah. Maryland be the high dollar because they like the what? I think Mom's been tapping the. Have you been sipping on that stuff you gave? What was that stuff? That was really good, by the way. That pecan, butter pecan whiskey something or other. I don't know what the hell that stuff was, but that was good. You've been tapping that, haven't you, Mom? Mo says, well, there is always the Ballblair 25 for 500 pounds. I would love to taste a Ballblair above the 99, but the money just gets crazy. I could probably get to 90 at some point, but 25-year-old is insane. Then there's an 83 I've seen out there. That's just crazy. Keith gave me the hill of his 21, so I have the bottle. Oh, the Parliament. Yeah, the Rivulet, I think is what it was. What was that Rivulet stuff? That was pretty good. It's not Scotch, but it was something. R-I-V-L-E Rivulet. I can't find anything on it. That's weird. Let's see. Let's go to the distiller and take a quick look real fast. If they have anything on it, hopefully. Pilar Rum. Is that the one that I like both of them. Yeah, if you can find the Bobbler 1990 for 155, that is a steal. That's a good price, I think. Let me take a look at the Ballblayers here. The 83, the 1983, and Guys Christmas is right around the corner. I would love to see that 1983 Ballblayer. It's only $449.99. That would be awesome. The 1990 here is $169.99. So most, yeah, if you got 155, I think it's $10 off. That's a good. That's a good deal there. $89.99 for the 99, and $74.99 for the 2003, which was actually still pretty good. The $89.99 is a much better buy. The 1999 I think is really good. Made me giddy. Yeah, Steven, you're right. That Pilar rum, that was good, man. Let me see if Distiller has any information on Pilar rum. Papa's Pilar rum. There we go. Was it dark, I guess, or blonde? I don't know. That stuff is pretty good, though. I'm not a big rum drinker or anything. Wow, ex-bourbon, ex-port, finished in Spanish sherry casks. I think it was the dark rum. Yeah. 24? Is it 24 years old? Wow, man. That's crazy. Oh, it's not an age statement, but rather an indication of the age of the Solera, which is to say part of the rum that is aged up to 24 years, but not all. So it's like a partial 24-year-old. That's interesting how they do that. But still, I mean, it's black rum. It's, it is good. Yeah, it's well rated. It got a 78 out of 100 on Distiller, but the average rating of the users out of 74 users, it got a 4.12, which is actually really well rated. So the user community actually rated it a lot higher than the so-called experts. So that's a good sign, actually. You can get the Ballware for $2.99 plus shipping online in the States. Wow. 83 for $2.99. Wow, man, that would be insanely awesome. Well, Christmas sounds even better now, Steve. I'm excited. Oh my goodness, the 99 was damn good. I can only half fathom what a 90, more or less, an 83 tastes like. 83 must be like just balls to the wall, fruit, crazy good, I'm sure. Yeah, DHS, I'm the same way. I'm like, should I have to take my money for man, that's high. I mean, $300 is no joke, but for a 1983 ball Blair, oh my goodness, that would be something. I have to jump on board. Well, guys, please give me a thumbs up before you take off. I really appreciate it if you have fun. It was definitely an eye opener. I learned that I really like the Glencadam, and I'm going to be taking a look at more what they have to offer. White and McKay really completely let me down with their price increase of the 18, which led me to the 15, which led me down a freaking nasty water slide that had shit all over it, basically. I mean, it is what it is. It's not horrible, but for the prices that these guys are getting, aloha, Juan. Thanks for so much for stopping by. I expect more. I have to. Once you've had, I mean, a Bunahad an 18. I mean, goodness gracious, what's the price on that guy? It can't be more than one. I'm thinking 160-ish. Can't be. Let me take a look. Bunahad. Sorry about the delay, but yeah, $129.99. $129.99 for Bunnahabhain 18. One of the best scotches I've ever had. Superb. 18 Dalmore, 210? I mean, come on. That is crazy. Oh, that is nuts. I'll send you some stuff too there, Steve, and I appreciate it. I definitely got to get some out to also, I left Leah a phone message, a text to call me. He hasn't called me yet. Hopefully he watches this. And I need to get and trade a couple things with them too, because they sent me some new stuff that I'm itching to get my hands into. I just don't want to open it before I get an idea of what they want me to send. Can you get a refund? Yeah, I mean, I probably could if I pitched a fit, but it's not horrible. I mean, it's going to be one of those dreams that I think that I'll enjoy. I'm just not going to definitely go out of my way. Now, I will say this on Dalmore's defense. If you ever get a chance to get an independent, especially like a Scotch Malt Whiskey Society version of Dalmore, that is really, really, really good from what I've heard. Haven't had it myself. Maybe on a tasting when I was up at visiting KB, Bob H, and the Dummies, I might have had a Dalmore because we went through like 18 really fast. All those were good. None of them. The Linkwood was not as memorable as the others, but all the others were definitely 4.5 to 5-star whiskeys. And Dalmore, if they were a part of that mix, which they very well could have been, then. But I've heard good stories about independent Dalmores. Yeah, DHS is right up. I might have to put a couple drops of the Ardbeg 10. That's not a bad idea. I have that. I'm actually sadly out of 10, but I had the Era Verdes, which has some similar profile to this that will give it like a little bit of a peat edge to it. You have a brilliant idea, DHS. I think that if I take the 15, we'll say 70% to 80%, Dalmore 15, 20% Ardbeg, Era Verdes, or pick your, what you've got. That would be actually a good idea, I think. Let's try it. I'll be right back. I've got a Era Verdes right here. Whoa. I don't knock anything over. 1 second. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. And because I'm not sure if Lee and Paul and Praney want to try some of this, I'm going to be extremely light on the pour just to see what I get out of it. Wow, this cork is a little bit of residue on it. Excellent bottle, by the way. If you can still find it, which I've seen a lot of shops still carry this for $100, it's very well worth it. It's one of my well, I don't think I've ever had an Ardbeg I didn't like, other than, I mean, I like the 10. It's just not, doesn't wow me like all the other ones do. But never had a bad Ardbeg, really. So let's let that give that little thing. The cool thing about this too, adding a little blend of your own. This is 49.9, 50%, we'll say, right? So we're adding a 50%, we'll say 20% of that to a 40%. That's going to really give it that boost of what what you really need there. Um, Thanks so much for stopping by, Nick Poor. I'm not sure if you've been here before, but it's good to see you. If you've been here before, welcome back. If not, then welcome to the channel. Hopefully, you'll come by more often. And looks like everyone thought it was also a good idea. Well, a touch of peat, it's definitely a great way to fix it. Yeah, I just put like you saw me like do like a little dollop basically in there. Oh, DHS from Cincinnati. That's cool. Buys his whiskey in Kentucky. That's smart. Steven wasn't a big fan of Kelpie, but I'm our big fanboy. Yeah, the Kelpie, I think, is you have to be in the mood for its profile most. I like the Kelpie, but to me, the Kelpie was very specialized. They used the Black Sea casks, and those Black Sea casks made it taste to me like a German breakfast. It had Spätzle, it had mustard, had a little bit of sauerkraut in there. It had the typical Ardbeg, profile, the smoky, peaty, had some really heavy briny notes in there too. I thought it was fantastic, but you gotta be in the mood for that savoriness that the Kelpie brought. It's extremely spicy slash sour with brine. That's what I got from it, but you know, I enjoyed it. I really liked the grooves too. I thought the grooves was just as good, just completely different dram. Caribbean roasted charred fruit. Oh man, smoky campfire on the beach. It was excellent. I liked both, but it just depends on what type of scotch you're in the mood for, really. That's what's great about all these Ardbegs is they're all so different. The Ugadal tastes nothing like the Araverdes, which tastes nothing like the Dark Cove, which tastes nothing like the Grooves. It's all over the place. Yeah, I had a lot of pepper, I think, in that too. The pepper bite and over oat note from Kelvin made it hard to drink. It was something I have fourth ounce, and I'm ready for another whiskey. Yeah, and it's funny. I still have a little bit of the committee release of the Kelpie back there. I'm gonna do a review on that at some point. I've been saving it for a review, just to do once. It's been so long, kind of a specialty thing. I'll probably won't do it for a regular review. Maybe do it like on an off day or something, just out of the blue, surprise kind of thing. Maybe find another Ardbeg to do with it if I'm lucky enough, which I don't think I have at the time, but I'll figure out something. But anyway, let's see what we think about this. Now, the nose. I'm not getting the peat, surprisingly. A little bit maybe. I'm still getting more of the Dalmore than anything else, which is a good sign that I didn't overdo things with the pour. The Dalmore nose is actually the best aspect of the dram anyway, so let's see what the palate gives us. If you didn't like the LR DHS, the CR would be even more intense, so you probably wouldn't like it either. This needs more. I didn't do it justice. I gotta give a little more Ardbeg. Man, surprise, surprise! I gotta pour more Ardbeg in there. Oh man. Steven's point. Save a little bit of that for when I do the review, Steven. You can do it with me. I've got some back in the back there. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to pour it. I am off tomorrow. Hold on. All right. Let's do one thing at a time here. You got me going all over the place. Didn't love the Kelpie. It's still good. Yeah. I just poured a peat week or did the Kelpie. Yeah. All right. Let's see if this is enough to. It still needs more. Wow. Why does it look bright? Are you talking about the Dalmore, or are you talking about the overall image here? Is it day where you are? Well, no, I've got a lighting. I've got a lamp that I use to make it a little brighter here. It's actually midnight here right now, Tevel. Good to see you. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if I've talked to you before, but I hope you're having fun. What are you drinking, and where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Um, if I'm saying Tavel right, let me know as well, or if it's Taval or some other pronunciation. Yeah, I'm trying to get this fine tune here. You can never have enough Ardbeg, really, can you? This particular Era Verdes is a. I know it was bourbon, but it was also toasted at the end. Let me bring that up and give you a little more detail, DHS, on the Ardbeg Era Verdes. If you could still find the bottle, I definitely recommend it. It's not a bad purchase by any means. There we go. There it is. It's peated, of course, 49.9. It's an NAS, but I'm assuming that it's at least 7 years old. It's a Fishkill of May 2014. And looks like this is, well, they didn't have it on here, but from what I remembered, this is going to be mostly a bourbon cask. 7 years or so, but at least that with at the very end they charred the bottle. They charred it to give it more of a mocha slash coffee type of taste with it, and it is there. I definitely got it when I reviewed it. Take a look at the review, and you'll find out what I'm talking about. Most says, wow, maybe an Octomore or Port Charlotte heavily peated. What are you talking about there, Most? Comparing it to what? If you're talking about this Era Verdes, no, it's not like that at all, I would say. Decency struggles to find the Corey Vrecken sometimes. I'm surprised. Thankfully, around here, you can find all the core of the 10, the Corey Vrecken, the Ugadal, and the NO. You could find, Oh, to add to the Dalmore, yeah, an Octomore Port Shaw. Yeah, I think you're onto something, Mose, because this isn't doing it for me yet. I'm trying to find. I don't think I have any Octomore left. I had a bit of 7.1, but I think I killed it. And the 6.1, I think I killed it too. I don't know if I have any. I have some of that Benromic Imperial proof. I don't know if I'd say heavily. I mean, it's pretty peaty. That might be better to mix. It's got a higher ABV too. It's a 50 something. I do have some Lafroig. That did help a little bit, but wow, man, at this point, I'm not sure how much is the Ardbeg and how much is the Dalmore, but now it's tasting right. I probably had to do 50-50 to get it right, though, is the thing. The only Lafroigs I have right now on hand is the Fino Carajus, the Ancomore, and the 18. I don't think I have anything else that's not already drank. Sadly, I need to get some more, as you can tell. You want that kind of raw, kind of sparky peat. Yeah. I think the give me 1 second. I think that Benromic's got it. I think it does. So let me get that out here. Let's see. I think I've got what I need this time. And if this doesn't work, we'll just, I'll have to, when I get like some cast strength the Lafroig 10. I'll try it with that. But I'm thinking this guy is a good one. This is the Benromic Imperial 10. I've been playing with that. I had it at a bar, thankfully, before I bought a bottle, and I loved it. It's 57% ABV. It's Benromic's bitey, peated cast strength whiskey, and I think this might be, I think it's cast strength. I mean, if it's not at 57%, it might as well be. So let's do this. Let's get a guitar before. No, I'm not getting a guitar. Let's kill this, and then we'll start anew with a fresh Dalmore and a fresh Benromic and see what we get. I can taste it, but I get both the Dalmore and the Ardbeg in there, but I just don't know if it's the right peat for it. I think it does need be a little more bitier. The cast strength will shine through without taking over. Yeah, I think that might help. Just a little bit of it. I'll just add a little bit at a time until I get it right. All right. Have a little palate cleanser. Yeah, I want to get the Dalmore peaty is what I'm really looking for. I don't want it to be Benromic with a little Dalmore in it. That's definitely not what I'm shooting for. So we're going to go more the Dalmore than the other one and see how that goes. I'm going to give it a little dash to see what happens with the Benromic. The color is really similar, so that's a good sign. I don't know if this is colored. It probably is. I'm not sure if Benromic does it or not. It's 10 years old, and that's awfully dark, so. All right. So gave it a little bit of a little pour over a big pour of Dalmore. We'll let that settle and see what we get. If the Benromic's natural, that's a really nice natural color. I just don't think that's the case here. I'd be really surprised for a 10-year-old. I don't remember this being, unless there's sherry involved with it. I'll have to look it up. Let's do a quick look while we're thinking about it. Benromic, yeah, I think it has to be colored for a 10-year-old peated, but let me just take a quick look. Benromic. Oh, man, where are you? Imperial proof. Here we go. 2015 in the U.S. has been released as 100. Well, it's Imperial approved because it's 57% here and 50% overseas. It's 10 years old and non-chill filtered, but they don't say anything about the coloring, so I'm pretty sure we got a little E150 in here. And that's okay, because it does taste absolutely great as far as like standalone whiskey. Benromic Imperial Proof 10 is well worth the purchase if you don't have one already. I highly recommend Benromic. I've had their peat smoke 2006. It's also very well done, I'd say. Kelpie CR, very savory, white pepper, stewed fruit, smoked seaweed, and fish. Nice transition also, better than I remembered. Yeah, I think, Stephen, from my memory on the on that one, the neck pour wasn't as good as it got down toward the end, and I think that you know, it oxidation actually helps it a lot on that deal. From what I remember, it definitely did not get worse with time. DH says, "Oh God, I look at my work calendar. I have to get into work early to hear 4 people With broken English, discuss a topic they don't understand. Oh no! What's the topic, DHS? If you can tell me, I'm just curious. I know the feeling. The sad thing is, I deal with some people at work that speak English that don't understand the topic at hand. So there you go. And if Brad and Tony are watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just going to leave it at that. Oh man! All right, let's have a sip and see. I think the nose is right for the mix. Aspects of both in there. Hmm. It needs more. Needs more of that cast strength love. Let's see here. Hopefully that'll be enough. I'm gonna be under the table if it doesn't work. Oh my goodness! All y'all need another communication class. Oh yeah, Mom, come on now. I was just quoting Lego Movie. I work at Treasury, so converting buying currency to well, I work for the government as well, in the Treasury, but not the Treasury, a different department in U.S. government that's in the Treasury, but not the Treasury. So I see what you're saying there, but it's a housing issue, not a currency thing. That's cool though. I might add some of the Glencadem to add some malt notes. Not a bad idea there, Mose. Now it's getting kind of fragmented, if you know what I mean there. We'll try it. I'll see if we get the taste right, at least on this too. That's better. That's right about perfect. I get the chocolate coffee aspects of the Dalmore. I get the strength of the Benromic with the peat and the spice. This doesn't really have a lot of spice in it. This one does have more spice. I wonder if I add a little bit of this, if it would be too much of the spice. Because Moses is right. It'd be kind of cool to see what it's like with a little bit of the malty notes. So we'll have a little bit. Whoa, a little bit of a sneak pour in there and see what we get. This is like mad scientist hour. I love blending my own though. It's really fun. It doesn't really take a lot to do it too, because all you need is you save up, you buy a bottle, don't drink it all right away. You save up, you buy another bottle maybe in a week or two, and before you know it, you have a few bottles to play with, and then you can actually kind of do your own blend and see what you can come up with. That's actually a really good nose. Huh. Not a bad color if it was all 100% real. Or a large company, not government. Oh, most of our money isn't in dollars, despite U.S. based. Oh, are you a Bitcoiner? Don't be a Bitcoiner. That's okay if you are. I know it's probably the way of the future, but God bless. I hope I'm dead before Bitcoins are used for everyday purchases. I swear to God. Oh my! Mom's asking if I can ask you guys a question for class I'm teaching. Yeah, go ahead, Mom. What the hell? We're all having fun. DHS's new blend 2018 Matte Classic Cut, 2 drops of 2003 Peak Week. Balvenie, I take it there, DHS, is that correct? So pour you basically a dram of the 2018 Classic Cut, and then take 2 drops of the Balvenie 2003 Peat Week and top it off a little bit. Very cool. Mom says, I'm writing a section about friendship. It's the old question, can men and women be friends without benefits? Yeah, but it depends on if there's attraction between the two parties. That's where the benefits thing can be an issue, I think. Hold on. Uh-oh. I gotta unfilter Mom's comments. So can men have a female, non-lesbian friend without thinking about sex? Yeah, I mean, but the problem, I think, only comes into play if there's like any attraction between the two. If she's smoking hot, can you be a friend without thinking about sex? No. That's impossible, I would think. I would think. I mean, not to act on it, but you would think, I think, about whatever, if we're talking smoking hot, what are you going to do? Uh-oh. Easy answer. No. I was gonna say, I think, yeah. If you're gonna be honest, I don't think that's a possibility. You can't think about it. Not having sex. You could be friends with a hot girl without a problem. Yeah. So if you thought about it, just all right. I'm just getting all philosophical here. I hope you guys have some drinks with you, because, oh my goodness. If you thought about it, would you tell her about your feelings? Hell no. I mean, it depends on the situation. If you weren't married and didn't have children, maybe. What do you think about popular term for work wife or work husband? What? I never heard of work wife or work husband. If a hot woman doesn't realize you're thinking about it, that's her shit. I never heard of this work wife or work husband thing. I'm not sure what that means. I never heard of that, so I can't comment on the whole work wife, work husband thing. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Unless you've got a wife at work kind of thing, and that'd be kind of weird. maybe that stuff works out another. Let's see. You have a close friend at work who's the opposite, since they're called my work wife. I never heard of that before. So he just hired this guy. He's a good-looking dude, smart guy, and he and this Russian bombshell go to lunch every day despite being both taken. Oh, is this DHS? I'm not sure how old you are, and don't take offense to this, but is this guy and this girl, are they millennials? I'm curious, because I bet you that's probably what's going on, because I don't think Gen Xers or anyone like older would get into that kind of thing, but that's just my take on it. 36 and 26. Trying to think of how old I am. They're not Gen Xers. They're millennials then, it sounds like. So if they're millennials, that makes sense, because millennials are fucking crazy. Oh man, I better drink a little more, because I'm gonna get myself in trouble. These people are fucking nuts. That's all I can say. No, I don't understand that at all. They're both under 40, one at 32 and at 39. Yeah, that's nuts. Never heard of it. Don't understand it. Moving on. Yeah, I I tolerate people at work. I'm not friends with really anybody. No offense to Brad and Tony if you're watching. No, I mean, you know what I mean. It's like, yeah, but this is crazy though. I don't know. I know what you're saying, Mom, but I think that I think you've gone into the millennial area, and that's a they might as well be freaking aliens, in my opinion. I just cannot contemplate, understand why millennials and younger people do what they do. I must be getting old. That's all I can say. I'm a little more conservative than some people. That's another aspect of this. I don't know. I think it's crazy. I think if you do well, you find someone that you can marry, have children, have a life. That's enough. This whole work, yeah. Yeah, that was also like 20, 30 years ago, I think, I guess. Well, there you go. Well, it's time to shut this down, guys. Well, I appreciate you all coming out and having fun. And that was pretty good, actually, with the Benromic and the Dalmore. I think was a good mix, and even with the Glencadam, to give it that multi-factor, good idea, Mose. I think that was pretty good. It was a really nice blend of the three, actually, surprisingly. Has a little, fruit and florals from this guy, a little peat smoke from this guy, and more chocolate coffee notes from this guy. Pretty nice, I have to say. The only difference in dating at work from the 50s and today is there's less drinking in the office. Yeah, that's the funny thing is that, and I watched, yeah, more women. I watched Mad Men and liked the show, but it's a different time. I mean, I don't know. Advertising agencies are different too. Not all workplaces are the same, so it's kind of especially when you deal with certain corporate situations are a little more intense than others. Government, of course, is different. Private sector, that probably stuff happens probably a lot more. I would hope or think than more of a rigid corporate deal, but I don't know. That's a whole nother thing. Well, cheers, Stephen. Thanks for so much for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. And DHS, anybody else that stuck around, I really appreciate it. Hopefully, see you guys soon. It might be next week, of course, but if I can stick in maybe a Kelpie community release review, just as a one-off surprise, that would be kind of fun. I do miss that dram. It was very good. Night DHS, and that might be one we might do just on the side. I actually have another one. I think I have a sample of a Talisker 57 point degrees north somewhere I could dig up to. That might be a good dual one to do if I can find it. I think I know where it is. Well, Solange, and if you have a sample of the music. Possibly DHS. I still had to catch up with Lee Praney and some of these guys that have already sent them some things here. So let me catch up on some things first, and then let's talk about that piece. Same with Steven. I know you were talking about sending something, but I have to make sure I get caught up on some things before I send anything else out. Thanks so much, Mose. I really appreciate you being always around, and hopefully you're doing well in Montana there. I asked you how Montana was during the Scotch for Dummies show, but I don't think you saw it. But hopefully things are going well for you there, and hopefully run into you with another dram soon. We're going to take a look at a couple other distillery options. Bladnoch, I think, is one. Wolfburn, that's coming soon. There's also Loch Lomond, and if I haven't done it yet, it's on the meter to be done hopefully soon. So, so much, Yvonne. Hopefully, I see you guys soon.